The following is a Bob Huckabone television production.
Welcome. I'm David Chesbrough, the Executive Director of the Roberson Museum and Science Center, of which the Copernic Space Education Center is one of the jewels in our crown. We're here at an event for Jay Sarton, who spent many years as the director of the Copernic Space Education Center, and has taken it from the point of being a small observatory that was made in honor of Nicolaus Copernic and turned into a major regional resource. This event honors Jay's accomplishments and recognizes the vision that he offered to the community in pulling together such diverse groups as the Polish Society of the local region, along with industry, state leaders, and educational leaders, to match a vision of science education done in a special setting that we have here at Copernic. The rest of the video is going to give you a chance to get a little bit of the highlights of Jay's career here at Roberson and some hints of what is held in the future for both the Copernic Space Education Center and Jay's involvement. Please join us for the rest of the evening.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Carol Stowell, and I am Director of School Programs at Roberson and the Director here at Copernic Space Education Center. I'm delighted that you could all be with us today, and we have invited you in here for a very brief program, and we promise we won't keep you long. I'd like to start out with a short story about a college student who was in his sophomore year at Whitman College in Walla Walla, Washington. He was having trouble deciding on a major, and after an agonizing discussion with his advisor, the student decided to double major in astrophysics and theater. As he was getting up to leave, he said to his advisor, "Thanks for your help, but what am I going to do once I graduate?" Shrugging, his advisor responded, "You could be a star."
Did you pass that one up? Who writes this material?
Today we honor a star director, teacher, and astronomer for his contributions to Roberson and Copernic over the past years. That person, as you know, is Jay Sarton. Jay joined Roberson in 1982. Thank you. Since then, he has accrued a list of administrative accomplishments, which include overseeing the remodeling of the planetarium down at Roberson, refurbishing the hands-on science galleries, and the expansion of the Copernic Observatory into the $1.5 million Copernic Space Education Center. Jay also served as acting executive director a few times. If given a choice, he probably would have chosen a less dramatic event than the fire in the old carriage house for his first day on the job. But even that cloud had its silver lining. From the charred structure of the old building, a bright and airy community education center, complete with a creative technology lab and expanded clayworks, has evolved. I think I would be safe in saying that of all his roles, Jay enjoys teaching the most. He has a wonderful rapport with both students and teachers, and is skilled at creating challenging yet fun programs. Notable accomplishments in this area include the Cycle 22 Sunspot program that was funded by the National Science Foundation, and the Space Science Summer Institute, which was initially funded by the New York State Department of Education. For Jay, astronomy and astrophotography rank near the top of his topics to teach. These two subjects are also top priority with Copernic Astronomical Society members who have worked with Jay doing public programs here at Copernic on many a Friday night. During his years with Roberson, Jay has interacted with most of you here today, members of the Copernic Polish Cultural Society, Roberson board members, both past and present, BOCES and school administrators, teachers, corporate business and community partners and friends, Roberson Copernic staff, again, both past and present, Copernic interns, and as previously mentioned, KAS members. Each of you has had the opportunity to get to know this extraordinary man, and I'm sure you have some interesting stories to tell as well. We are delighted that Jay has not left the Roberson Copernic scene entirely. As the first client of his now one-year-old consulting business, we are pleased to have him working on two very special projects here at Copernic. One of those projects is the Copernic Science Talent Search. The other is Copernic's 25th anniversary celebration. As many of you will recall, Copernic began as a community observatory built with funds raised by the Copernic Polish Cultural Society to commemorate the 500th birthday of Mikołaj Kopernik, also known as Nicholas Copernicus. Since then, the Society has continued to support Copernic in numerous ways, and Jay has worked with them closely over the years. To tell you more about those two important projects is David Chesbrough, our Executive Director.
Thank you, Carol. Being the new kid on the block, they didn't trust me to tell history, because I'd make it up. But probably none of it is as noteworthy as what it really was. And I do have a beef, though. I went to my cupboard and I came up with this tie for today, and only about 2 people made note of it. So I do want people to take a look at it, because I've been saving it for a special event, and this was the event. But let me talk a little bit about next steps, because it certainly has been Jay's vision. Working with the Polish American community, which is just a tremendous story, which we hope to tell in a better and more expanded form. And it's that vision that we're looking forward to continuing to fulfill. So the Copernic 25th anniversary and the Copernic Talent Search are 2 areas that will still benefit from Jay's leadership, and I will just highlight them a little bit now, and there's much more to come later. But as I look over this plaque here, I don't know how many of you realize, of course many of you again have been around a lot longer than I, but that's the outside wall of the original observatory with the little cornerstone there for 1973, where some cities, I know I was down in Philadelphia noting a statue to Nicholas Copernic. Here there's been made a living memorial, and what we want to do is take the physical structure and all the good programs that have been done and crank it up, if you will, to a whole nother higher level of service. And the Copernic 25th anniversary, if you take that 73 and add 25, you get 1998, you'll see when we're coming up. So what we're looking at is continue to celebrate the 25 years of service to the public, schools, and community through that initiative, to expand the educational programming and spotlight the partnerships, many of the partners being represented in this room that have been and will continue to be instrumental in our serving youth throughout this community. And just a little preview, February 19th, 1998 at Roberson, we will celebrate Nicolaus Copernic's 525th birthday to kind of start that whole affair, and then culminate on June 5th, 1999, which is the 25th anniversary of the dedication of the original observatory. So a major goal which Jay is going to be leading is to provide access to all the Copernic programs through the establishment of a scholarship fund, in addition to raising the profile of this wonderful facility from not just a local facility, but a major regional facility, of which it is. And we're proud to announce that all of you have contributed to the start of the J. Sarton Scholarship Fund, which will form the seed, the core of that initiative, which will make sure that we have expanded access to the Copernic Talent Search. And of course, that's the next part of where Jay's leadership is going to continue to come in. Jay's had this view, this vision, that if you just take kids and you nurture them and you continue their interests, that they will stay with their original interests. And unfortunately, in our society, we've got two areas, both of which are represented by Roberson, that kids early on are told or learn that they aren't good in, whether it be art or whether it be science and math and technology. And so Jay's vision has always been that what we do is set up a series of educational opportunities for youth who are interested in science, math, and technology, and we nurture those youth. We give them ongoing support, we give them ongoing opportunities, and hopefully, if we do this well, we will help to provide the next generation of scientists, technicians, and engineers upon which this valley's whole economy is built. And so what I want to do now is go into a couple of recognitions in honor of what Jay has done in the past, with having given you a little sense of what Jay is going to be doing in the future. First person I'm going to introduce to do that is Jay Edwards, the other Jay, who again is famous in his own right. Jay is the president of the Copernic Astronomical Society. And Jay, if you come up for a moment.
Thank you, David. Jay, I'd just like to say we first met back in 1982, and over the many years, I don't think either of us thought back then what that relationship might lead to. And I guess we'd like to say, from the standpoint of the Astronomical Society, that you have been a friend and a mentor to many of us in the sciences and in dealing with the public in general. And we wanted to do something somewhat concrete, and we thought of maybe 16mm movie projector of powers of 10, but that didn't seem appropriate. So we took our best instrument, which is a one-of-a-kind for this area astronomical telescope. It's one of 25 made in the world, and you will find out on the mount out here a plaque which says, "Dedicated to Mr. J. Sarton, the father of KSCC and an inspiration to us all." And so, Jay, we would.
Does that mean I get to use the telescope?
As a matter of fact, we have just signed up for next Friday night. Overall, I would just like to say thank you. You have been a driving force in science education in this area, and not only an inspiration to our society, but I'm sure an inspiration to thousands of people throughout the area. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
While we're saying thanks, and before I forget it, I would like, these kind of efforts don't just happen. There's been a committee of friends and board members who've worked on this for a while, so I'd just like very quickly for those members to stand up just to be recognized for having put this together. Karen, Mike, Carol, please, Val, Ed, whoever else was involved, please just stand, and I want to thank you for your effort to make this evening happen. Rita Yates, and also on your way out, one of the things that we chose as a theme was youth. And so you have seen the Binghamton Children Youth String Quartet come in. The Vestal group is out there. There's National Honor Society students from Vestal. So if you can, please thank the students for their contribution as well. We thought that was meaningful. Unfortunately, some important people had conflicts that were just paramount that they attend to. One of them being my board president, who, with great regret, could not be here. But he gave me a letter, Jay, and he'd like me to read this. Dear Jay, I regret I can't be on hand for today's event in your honor. It happens that this is Parents' Weekend at my daughter's college. My wife and I are driving up Route 17 back to Binghamton as you are hearing these words. So we can all imagine that route and them out there in the rain. Though I can't be there in person, I do want to join everyone there today in thanking you and saluting you for all you've done for Roberson, for Copernic, and for the community. If all of us were asked to name 5 people who have made a real difference in this community, a real difference is in something that really counts, like improving the education of our young. I have no doubt, Jay, that you would make everybody's top 5 list. In fact, a lot of us would like to list you number 1. It is my eager hope, and I know a lot of people share this wish, that you will stay closely connected with Copernic and with Roberson in the years ahead. Just like it is comforting for us at night to always see the handle on the Big Dipper and how it points to the North Star so we can all find our way in the dark, it would also be comforting to know that you are up here on this hill in Vestal, whether it be daytime or nighttime, pointing the way for the young and the not-so-young to open their eyes to the wonders around them. Best of luck, Jay. We sure hope you will still be among us in your efforts for a long time to come. Sincerely, Peter Cronk, President of the Roberson Board of Trustees. So I'm going to give you a copy of this.
Thanks, David.
Another gentleman who could not be here was Sandra Libis, but he happened to have put a little effort in quite a while back, may I admit to. But let me grab something here from him. Now, this is done in politicalese, okay, in Albany. I'm going to spare you all the words, but I'm going to read some key passages. This is a legislative resolution from the state of New York honoring Edward J. Sarton, Jr. upon the occasion of his retirement after 15 years of dedicated service as Chief Administrator for Science. They added another title for you, Jay, at the Roberson Museum and Science Center. Some key passages here. Whereas J. Sarton's responsibilities at the Roberson Museum and Science Center were planning and integrating programs for the Copernic Space Education Center in Vestal, New York, the Link Planetarium, and the Space Science Wing of the Roberson Museum in Binghamton in New York. And whereas, they like that word whereas, it's bold at the start of every paragraph here, J. Sarton led the conceptualization and fundraising for the Copernic Space Education Center expansion project, which was completed in 1993. He was chief astronomer and observatory director at the satellite facility, where he managed educational and research projects. He was successful in developing partnerships with local districts, several colleges, the New York State Education Department, business and industry. Whereas Jay and his wife Sherry, who's joined us tonight, are the parents of Katie, Adam, Christopher, and Matthew. Good politicians. They always bring the family into it.
Voters.
Right, all prospective voters. And whereas during his tenure at Roberson Museum and Science Center, J. Sarton earned the admiration, esteem, and affection of his colleagues. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to honor Edward J. Sarton, Jr. upon the occasion of his retirement after 15 years of distinguished service, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution, suitably engrossed, and that's what it says, engrossed, be transmitted to J. Sarton. So, something that the state senate adopts, I have to follow through with and give you this resolution signed by the secretary by order of the assembly. Jay, this was done a little while back. We were waiting for the right occasion, and we finally have that occasion to present this to you on behalf of Senator Libis.
If we have a really dull night, Sherry, some night, I'll read this to you. Thanks, David, and thanks for whoever worked on this behind the scenes. I don't know who, but somebody out there worked on this.
Jay, we didn't plan it, but if you wanted, would you like a couple of moments to have a word or two?
I'll have a word or two. I know that certain of you would have been disappointed if there were a word or two. I probably should have something really profound to say, and I probably should have thought of something ahead of time to say, but I didn't, and I don't. But let me just say that over the years, a couple of things strike me. One, the many, many people, some of whom are sitting in this room, smiling, most of whom are still awake, I think, as far as I can tell, and many other people who are not in this room. People who came into the observatory orbit, to use a pun, and helped us create a telescope, build a building, or whatever. But the only reward I really need for all this happened last summer. I came in here during some of the programs, and of course students had no idea who I was. I didn't look like a scientist and I didn't act like one. I just kind of wandered around. And in this corner there were students working on the computer, imaging. There were people out using the telescopes. There were people in the dark room developing pictures. And as I wandered around, I suddenly realized they didn't need me anymore. It was happening. And if you can feel some of the, I guess, the vision, excitement I have for having young people learn more about the business of learning and rising to higher levels of achievement, then I guess I've been successful, and I guess it all worked. But I thank you for your help, and we have a big job ahead of us still, but it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride. And I'll have some private comments to some of the rest of you other times, okay? Thank you very much.
For those of you who know Jay, you know this was not his favorite thing to be doing, of standing up in front of everyone. And I promised two things. One, that would be short, and two, that was for the kids. So there's a couple things there that I want to wrap up. One, we do have a group of youth who are out there waiting to give us some more background music. There's plenty of food. This event goes on till 6:30, but some very important people in Jay's life, like Sherry, had encouraged me to move the presentation up so you can pick up one of the daughters. So I wanted to, well, father with 3 kids is the only way I talk. Their daughter. And so we are wrapping up. You also, when you leave, there's a kind of advance notice about the 25th, which is going to be one of Jay's pet projects here in the upcoming year. So what we'd like you to do is take some more time. We've got the whole place opened up, so please take time to take a look at what we've been able to accomplish here. Envision it being used for institutes year-round, for kid after kid, teen after teen coming up here and having a chance to expand themselves, to pursue a dream, to create dreams. And all of this has been thanks to many of you in the room, but most of all, thanks to you, Jay. So thank you again, and please enjoy the rest of the evening.
Jay's just a wonderful guy. He's a real mover. He gets programs going on a shoestring. He's very student, kid-orientated, and I don't know what else I can say except he's a great guy, and he's done a lot to build Copernic and the science in the area.
If I wanted to reminisce about Jay, I think that the thing that I remember the most would be back in the late 80s when I was on the board of Roberson, and Jay came to our board of directors meeting and presented this idea of this wonderful expansion of Copernic, the observatory, and the kind of educational opportunities it would bring to this community, and his excitement and what he generated at that meeting. And so here we are, still celebrating Jay's accomplishments and what an incredible impact he's had on Roberson and all of us, on this whole community.
Well, I've known Jay since he first came to the area, and he was the man that the Copernic Space Education Center needed at that time to make it the place that it is today. I've been a volunteer up here, and I've also been an employee over the last 18 years, and Jay has definitely done a marvelous job in making this place what it is.
Jay has been an influence in science education in this community for decades, and I believe that Jay and my paths crossed about 17 or 18 years ago when we started working together on some projects that to improve science education. I have the greatest respect for him. I think that the Copernic Center is clearly a memorial to the efforts that Jay has provided in terms of making sure that science comes alive for not only the youth of this community, but everyone in the community. He's worked tirelessly to make this a great observatory, a great learning center for the sciences, mathematics, and technology, and he's a great asset to not only Broome County, but the entire region. It's great to be here and to wish him well and pay him this tribute.
In the early 80s, when I first was appointed as Science Department Chair in Binghamton City School District, I'd heard things about this guy named Jay Sarton. I had no idea who he was, and people had talked about him and what kind of impact he had on science education in the area. And it wasn't long before Jay and I met, and even if I didn't want to do any work with Jay or Roberson, there was no way I could avoid it. He was so enthusiastic. He was such a strong spokesperson for science education and for Roberson Museum and Science Center that it was contagious. And everybody really, including me, who has had any contact with Jay, has to be excited about science education and has been motivated to think of science in a different way than just book learning. So we really have Jay to thank for making a great change in how science is taught in this area and making it real for our students and ourselves. It's an honor to be here, and Jay deserves all the honors that he can get. He's done a wonderful job for our community.
Okay, just wanted to say congratulations, Jay. You've done a wonderful job. I hope that you feel very honored with everything that's happening today, and we know we'll continue to see you around. Good luck.
Jay, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to work with you for 9 years. You really were an inspirational boss and a real pleasure to work with you. May you have much success in the future in your own endeavors. Thank you.
Well, Jay, I'm really happy to be here. It's been a long time, many years, but it's been so much fun. I have some special gifts for you, which of course can only be presented in private, and I will see you soon. Congratulations.
I'm May Rachel, and I'm part of the Copernic Society since it started. And when we were making a decision who to have our curator, and we voted for the Copernic Society to replace Wajinka because there were others. And it was a very, very good decision because he has done so much for this society that if it wasn't for him, I don't think it would be as big and as fruitful as it is right now. Thank you.
President of Copernic Society. I want to say I'm very proud to be president and have been for the last few years.
but I'm even more proud to know that Jay has been part of the Copernic Society for many more years than I've been around. And from what I hear from members of the Copernic Society, what I hear from local townspeople in the community, he is one of the most wonderful men to have led and still leads the observatory, and we're very, very proud of that fact. He's an action man, he is very soft-spoken, and we're very proud of his accomplishments, and we certainly hope that in years to come he will do much, much more for us and for the observatory. Thank you.
Well, Jay, I think if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have developed this interest I have. So all I can say is I wish you the best, and I hope you continue to hang around with us.
For years, I'd like to think of you as one of my friends, and over the years, you've been somewhat of a mentor. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for teaching me a lot, not only about science in particular, but about people in general. Thanks a lot, and good luck.
Well, I still remember talking to Jay, having Jay come out to Owego, going over the capital plan, and asking him what we could do as far as computers, housing computers up here. And I remember a superintendent's day, this was back in '91, I called Jay and I said, Jay, I need your input, and I need it like in 5 minutes. And he said, well, what do you want me to include in that input? And I said, just give me your wish list. List everything you could possibly think of, everything you would want at Copernic. And he did. And we put the order in like within 5 minutes after that. And I'm very pleased to see the computer room in here, in the advanced computer room, having all the computers that we were able to donate.
Jay, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be associated with you this brief period of time that I've been in the area, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future.
Jay, I want to wish you well with all your new adventures and express my thanks for the times when you were willing to work with that little boy Keith that I brought out here. That was really terrific. Appreciated that tremendously, and so did he. Good luck to you. Thanks.
Old board members, we were reminiscing about how wonderful it was whenever Jay would give a presentation about Copernic and the observatory and his needs, and he always did it in such a professional and impassioned and enthusiastic manner. I looked forward to having him at board meetings, really. He was great.
A treat, wasn't it?
It was a treat.
Society, tremendous teacher that would never achieve what is achieved without Jay Sarton, and just so happy to have him here, and he deserves every accolade he can receive, and the scholarship will be a dream come true. And good luck, Jay, and we love you.
I remember 15 years ago when Jay was applying for the job as curator of the Copernic Observatory. His enthusiasm and his vision for the future really overwhelmed the board of interviewing the committee. And here we are 20 or 15 years later, and his persistence has really paid off. He still has the same enthusiasm, and his vision has become a reality. And we wish him all the best. He really deserves his honor. We wish him all the best. And, Val, want to add to that?
Well, I just want to say, Jay, thank you so much for sharing your life with us and for doing all that you've done for all the people in this community, because it's just the most wonderful achievement that we could ever hope for. And we wish you a lot of luck in all that you do in the future. God bless you, and take care.
Professionals that I ever worked with, and that spans 4 decades of working in banking, the museum area, the science area, and the observatory, and what he's been able to accomplish, absolutely outstanding. This is a nationwide recognized facility, and the educational programs for the children in our area and the areas that are represented from the region that come here, the programs are just excellent. And I wish Jay well as he continues on in his new career, and I understand that's moving along just brilliantly for him.
We would like to make you a permanent member of the Lockheed Martin shuttle team.
Okay. Does this mean I get a free ride?
That means you get a free ride.
It means we're space and we're special. And now
There you go. Now you get that right on camera. See, right there.
Anything you want to sing about or say about?
I'm ready to go anytime. I would love to go in space, yeah. I want a quick pair of ties here. So my tie is bigger than yours? No, I think you got the space.
I got Snoopy.
Yeah.
The mascot.
What do you, well, what about Joe over here?
He hasn't moved far enough up the food chain yet, but he'll get there.
Yeah. Well, you know, did I even tell you I worked for Rockwell? I was an engineer working in North American Rockwell, California, on Apollo.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The day we landed on the moon, I was in we did rocket engine simulations, and our group built all, Rockwell did all the engines, almost all the engins.
They do on shuttle also.
Yeah. So I was there the day we landed on the moon in our big bunker with hundreds of engineers, all across. We were jumping up and down on the desks, but they wouldn't allow anything on TV because it was security clearance, so we had no TV. But they did tell us.
Yeah, we were told about people landing on the moon. It was before our time, before Joe and I.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's why I'm retired already. Yeah, I'm about 99 years old.
I have the job of holding the mic.
I see, it doesn't really do anything. This is just for show.
He told me not to say anything. He just said, hold the mic.
He's going to sing next, so look out.
Yeah, we're trying to remember the words.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
That's a close one. That's a close one. Are we done with this presentation?
I think I do appreciate that.